Hello, beautiful tribe, and welcome to another episode of Mom, Multidimensional Art Medicine, Women, and my dear friend, the talking stick. You can't see him, but he's here. And today we're going to be tuning in to a very special radio station. And I am welcoming in my dear, dear, dear friend and star sister, Susane Amara. And to me, it's really an honor to be here talking with you and tuning into your radio station. And the talking stick is super excited. We know each other for many, many years. We've gone through a lot of things together. I felt, even though maybe we did not speak in person, you were always there. To me, Susan is one of I'm gonna try to put it in words, the holder of the original keys for the awakening of humanity. And I do feel that this interview today, well, that's the vibe I'm getting right now from the talking stick, is really going to uncover and reveal more of your true identity, more of what it is that you are bringing for this crossing of the threshold that we are in as a humanity right now, and that many things that have been hidden because it was not the time yet to reveal them will come into light today. So I know that many beings are waiting for your presence and for you to take up more space in the world, and that many of us have been a little bit hidden, and now it's time for us to really step into our power and show ourselves in our whole brightness and light. And this is what the talking stick wants me to say to you as an introduction. So I am super honored to have you on. Hello.
Hello. Wow. I feel like I got a talking spank there. A little prod and a poke with the stick. But it's well meant and it's also true.
Yeah.
Our voices have been silenced for too long.
Yes.
You've travelled through dimensions, through universes, through multiverses. So I'm from a different universe, this universe. And it's taken me 12 years to find my voice. And I'm still only just feel like a baby. I feel like even after all this time that we've known each other, that this year I died. I needed to, desperately needed to die to a lot of things about my ego and things I held on to. So I feel very new, very open. And yes, I love to open into discussion. I'm very easy with what unfolds. And I find it hard actually to accept some of that stuff, around being a key holder. But I actually am, for the first time publicly, going to own that. I'm going to own it. I'm going to give it to my soul. I'm going to claim it because I am a key holder.
You
I
are.
am. And I've known it probably all my life, but also spent most of my life not understanding anything to do with what it really means, and also running away from it and be very scared. So I know I'm not the only one. I'd love to meet other family, like you are one. I have other family around me, and there are many of us that are remembering collectively together, and we've been very afraid. So I'm here, like, I don't know, like a matriarch or a medicine woman. I don't know, something. I'm just a human to hold space for this and to provide like an overarching space of safety, like a net for the earth. and to just be myself and bring whatever comes forth. So I haven't got a mission, got no grand statement, but that is a truth for sure. There is much to come. Thank you for that introduction. I really appreciate it. I'm just a human as well.
Yes, you are just a human, but you are
Very human.
also embodying your galactic human part. Yes, and
Yeah.
that is important because I feel that a lot of us have been struggling with wrong humbleness. Yeah, and that has been holding us back from really saying what we know and what we have experienced. But it is so important right now for us to share all those experiences and to share our stories. And this is why I am here, because I want to uncover those stories, those crazy multidimensional experiences that many of us have been having, and that others will start to have now as well. And if they hear somebody has been going through that already, not making them feel as if they would go mad or crazy. So, my question to you, maybe to start and open up the space to let people more into who is Susanne as a human. Who are you now? I want to get to know you as well. Who are you now? Because I haven't talked to you in a while. So, who are you today? And if you say I'm just simply being me, what is it that what is your medicine? What is it that you love to do? Just for people who don't know you, maybe give a little introduction about how you see yourself at this time in history.
Okay. Well, right now, as Susane Amara, so Susanne is my mother's name that she gave me, my birth name of Earth. Amara is my eternal name. So I'm a combination of both. As you said, I've got a higher self and I'm in touch with my higher self and different layers of my soul now, more higher. And what am I today? I feel very, very grateful. I feel like I'm having a love affair, to be honest, with creation. Like creation has become my lover. And that means that I've become fully responsible for myself. I don't look outside of myself for validation. And also, I take responsibility for everything that I'm creating and everything that I've experienced. So that has been the shift. And what that's done is it's enabled me to let go of what feels like eons of drama and being afraid to speak, being afraid to be passionate, to embrace the fire, to access these memory codes, to everything was hazy, everything was shut down. And because of what I've stepped through this year, which we might get into a little bit, I've come out of the other side of that and hit this wide open space. So what am I enjoying? I'm enjoying being human. I'm enjoying my emotions. I'm enjoying my body vibrating like crazy and responding to pretty much everything because I have synesthesia, which means that my senses are one sense. And my whole entire being feels everything. It is like making love constantly, but you have to be very discerning because obviously there's a lot of things that are not so good. So that means being very responsible. I enjoy being in nature. I enjoy long walks where I live in Thailand. I spend a lot of time in the water with doing water work and earthwork off social media. I enjoy art and anything creative, literally anything. It just pours out at me. So I'm either writing or I'm playing the guitar or I'm singing in my voice or I'm dancing in the jungle or I'm silent and resting. And I enjoy connecting with other people. I have become a curious explorer of humans. And in that, I mean all humans, not just multidimensional humans, not just people who believe in X, Y, and Z. I mean all humans. I'm so curious. It feels like I am Susanne, but I'm I'm kind of looking down through myself a lot of the time, and my heart just opens and explodes, and I can feel between the words of what people say. So I feel a little bit like at the moment I'm a child that's curiously exploring what it is to be on Earth. I can't explain it rationally because I'm 53 years old. And I remember my life. I understand we've shared this, my awakening. I'll share a little bit with your listeners. Um, so yeah, I feel like I can laugh, I can cry, I can be myself. I'm not holding myself back anymore. And I spent a lot of time this year working on conscious communication, on understanding a lot more about where behaviors come from, psychology. So I've got a lot more regulation inside of my system. And that's enabled me to really get in, to get the soul spirit in and open up my energy field and energy system. So really get in touch with the Amara flame, and just that went right up my spine, and it just started to unlock everything when it was going. Burned so much away that was just, it's all about the drama that we get lost in. I don't really need that. I'm still resolving. It's like the last little bits of all the shit that I created on the earth. I've got to go and kind of tie all those things. But really, I'm in the last bits of just letting that go. And I'm excited. I feel excited, even with all the crazy, crazy cra that goes on in the different realms.
Mm.
It is the best time for us to arise, because if we haven't got any darkness or any push, what are we arising from?
Yeah.
There's nothing to rise from.
Yeah.
So it's an exciting time. So Susanne is a curious navigator, and I'm very much discovering a new landscape of how to be.
Who are you? I am a cosmic child. I am a cosmic child within. So, just to clarify, Amorea flame, because many people will be listening who have no idea what that is, right? Who have
Okay.
maybe not idea what you're talking about. So let's bring it down to maybe somebody who's hearing for the first time about multidimensional and all of these things, right? And they're like, oh wow, I wanna experience that. I wanna be in that space. What is it that you would say has brought you where you're at? And could you explain a little bit more about that flame and unlocking of that just bring it a little bit more into material reality?
Okay. Do you want me to explain how I got here?
Yes. How did you, a little bit about your story? Where were
Yeah.
you? And what helped you be where you are at now? And a little bit about that flame that you were talking about, because
Okay.
I really do feel that this is an important part in general to talk about the Amorea flame and that flame that lives in us for people who have never heard of it.
Well, for people that are just beginning, like that's where I started. And we're all cosmic children, aren't we? But life just, we're in amnesia. We're born in with different levels of amnesia. Mine was on the high. It was like number 10, number 10 amnesia. And so I just switched off. I can remember things as a child. I saw angels, lights in the room. I traveled on spaceships. I had lots of crazy experiences, and then shut it down. So I started to forget, ended up being forgotten, and gradually just became more and more numbed, and lived a very regular life like most people. So just to summarize that, trauma, life experience, depression, crappy illnesses, like all of that stuff, I was seeking and searching to try and stop the suffering. And I was a regular mom in a regular family, living a normal life pretty much. And then I started to meditate to try and improve my stress and unhappiness and illness. That led to doing some yoga, some hatha yoga, and then doing some more meditation, more serious meditation. And from that, I was originally chanting the Gayatri mantra for around about half an hour a day. And that seemed to vibrate my body, and I could start to hear like the trees talking. So I've been walking along with my dog, completely normal. The trees had stopped talking to me, and I actually thought I was crazy. So this is helpful for people listening. I was seeing geometry in the trees, like little things in the trees just at the corner of my eye. And as soon as I looked, it wasn't there. So I just thought, I'm making it up. And I felt things moving, but I can't put that very tangibly into anything really. But I just had a few beginning experiences, and I was doing things like Reiki and holistic therapy by this time, but I was very skeptical, super skeptical. This was the early 2000s, this is about 20 years ago. I was very scientific, very logical, wanted to do everything clinically, very overriding all of my natural intuition, and wanted to explain everything because I am a bit of a high functioning sort of girl. And I squished and squashed my creativity. So essentially in 2012, that was the year when a lot of people, a lot of indigos were activated on the 21st of December 2012. And that's my story. So basically, I had dreams that I needed to travel to a sacred site. I didn't even know what sacred sites were. I thought things like ley lines and crystals were just a bunch of nutters. Like, all that was just all new age bullshit for me.
Same.
Like, completely skeptical. I was just like this, they're bonkers, this doesn't exist. So I was very skeptical, but the feeling that I had in my heart was so strong. It was literally like, if I don't go to this place, I'm going to die. It was a feeling that if I didn't go, I was going to die. And so it was sort of like fearful, but it was really sincere at the same time. Because what was actually happening was I was really trapped in my life and asleep. So my higher self is like wanting to shake me and wake me up because I'm like playing this false character of a mother, to children, and it was loved to the post so much. I wasn't a very functional person, a very useful person, because I was always sick or depressed. Like, I wasn't really functioning very well. So I did need a good jolt, and I definitely got one. So when I went to the sacred site, essentially, I heard the stones singing, which freaked me out. So that might be happening to people as well. The stones were making noise and sound, and it wasn't particularly coming from anywhere. So I thought I'd had some tea, and I thought someone had given me something in the tea, or, I was just trying to excuse it, that I might be hallucinating. And I felt like my whole body vibrating for about 10 minutes, and then it went. And then I went to the car, and I heard a voice in my head that said, go to this other place, which was Avebury in England, very sacred place.
I was there too.
And when I arrived, lots of things were happening. I haven't got time to go into it now. It was all perfectly created. So essentially, I came, it's not going to make sense to people too much, but essentially I came from my future to meet myself in what is now, it's not the past or the future, it's just all parallel. But to meet myself in that moment, I created a time tunnel to meet myself, put myself to sleep. And in that time, my soul was dropping in. And it took 8 days, it took 8 cycles, rotations for me to be coming in fully. And then I fell asleep in a flu-like episode, which is quite common. You can get like sickness to get the soul in. And I did. And in those 3 days, when I was a bit delirious, I was outside of my body, experiencing billions of years in different dimensions, and so much information, I couldn't possibly bring it back. It's taken me 12 years to work it out. So coming back from that, I felt a different person. So that's called what we might call a walk-in. But it was just part of my soul. It wasn't like another being. It was just part of myself coming in that was more higher dimensional. But it can be confusing when this happens. And there was a lot related to that, a lot of changes. I forgot a lot of things. I didn't relate to my children. I found it very hard to relate to my life. I became an instant vegetarian, and lots of things changed very quickly. So my life for a few years was about adapting, and I couldn't stop being a mom. I had to just get on with life and work it out. And there wasn't the kind of communities we've got here. There wasn't like the internet. We didn't have Facebook so much. It was really just I had to work it out. And so that was quite hard, but I wouldn't have chosen it any other way. And I had lots of adventures, but the cosmic adventures really started in around about 2015, 2016, when my third eye just couldn't stay closed any longer. The door had been shut too long and it just opened one day. There was an experience I had in my bedroom with Joshua, and I just was activated and started to remember. So I started to remember and went down a route. But there are different routes. So this is where I started, and I'm sharing it honestly because I understand and appreciate as well. At the very beginning, it was more of an activation in what we might call the bi-wave, or more in the metatronic fields, because I wasn't aware of the different layers of our reality. So I was in this massive stage of learning, and I've had to go through every little storybook. It's like when you learn to read and you have to start at 1A. I had to start at 1A and go to 1B and 1C and 1D. And that's how it's been all the time stepping through. So I'm not like this, oh, I get it all. I just suddenly landed it all in. No, I fell over my shoelaces so many times, grazed, made every mistake in the book, got lost, got infiltrated, forgot myself, made all of the spaces that we struggle with. And that's why I can hold the space now. So for anyone that's really struggling, I know I can feel that it is emotional, because I feel that if I didn't have the courage in my heart, if I didn't have the heart of a lion, which I have, I'm a lion, I've got the heart of a lion, a lioness, an eternal goddess of love, God inside of us. If I didn't have this fire, I would have gone. And I know that so many people feel lonely, and so many people feel misunderstood, and so many people feel like they've been marooned here, they've been lost, they do not fit into society. And I am here with my authentic voice to say it's okay. You can be here, and I am here, and I'm not going anywhere. We find our voices now and find each other.
Thank you so much for sharing that. It's like you're speaking my story, just your way, but we have, I think, all these similarities, no? The especially the walk-in starseeds and indigos, and it just touches me so deeply because this is the part where that I have not been able to share with almost nobody, and I know how hard it is, and what you have been through, and what so many of us have been through, and going through it alone. And it just touches me to know that others will not have to have to go through that alone now anymore, not feeling crazy, not feeling like going through this hardships up and down, up and down. So thank you for sharing your story. I see you. I see that lioness. Taraha haru humpahia sotokuhor ayan taksutoru kupmahia natasha tukoru puasatani. I wanted also almost to ask you to do the whole episode in light language, but then I said no.
I wanted to share this. If I was just gonna, I had this stream, you know, like what happens with my consciousness now is I get, like I'm talking to you from my heart, but I get this third eye stream of all sorts of pictures and things. And I feel like whatever it is that's going on, I'm just going to convey to people. So there's obviously some people are going to listen and maybe need, I don't understand always why I'm doing this. Yeah. So types of things that have happened, just to summarize, like seeing through reality, seeing the reality that we know completely disappear into wireframe, into mathematics, into geometry, so that it looks like liquid, seeing other beings, like huge beings, 30-meter high beings, light ships, oceans where there's no oceans, time disappearing, things completely shifting and shifting back, being invisible and suddenly appearing. People just completely not seeing you when you're vibrating really hard, seeing things light up in stones, and when you're out walking, seeing things lighting up in the land and feeling the pulsings of energy, communing with nature, feeling the vibrations of the flowers and the essences, and getting visions that are from other worlds. Or suddenly you're sitting somewhere and you're waking up. It's like you're waking up in another world through some other being's eyes, and you are tangibly there. Lucid dreaming that's so lucid that this place feels like a dream, and not being able to find words for this. So the light languages that are coming for us are catalytic. They're here to ignite our DNA. Like, we want to go out and share it with everyone else, which is why I founded Light Language Lounge. But inside, this is what's key. It's for us to ignite our sacred voice, and we're going to vibrate inside. So a lot of these things are just related to, we've set them into the time matrix, but we can't remember we've done it. So everything is by design, but it's very hard for us, for the human mind, to work it out, because we're in a linear time. We think everything's solid, and we actually believe the fiction of the character that we are, and we get lost in it. So we're breaking this now. And yes, the language is beyond the types of labels that can be misunderstood. The heart understands this, the feeling understands this. We haven't been able to unlock this because of all the gubbins that's in the way of being lost in
You're mentioning
drama.
the light language launch. Just again, here, I really wanted to thank you. Thank you so much for doing that for so many years for free. Because for me, it was really a space, the only space where I could be myself, where I could share myself, my true self. And it literally, in so many moments, saved me from not thinking I'm completely nuts and going crazy, and just feeling seen and being in that community and supporting each other was crucial for me. It was crucial for my awakening, and thank you so much for that. Really, you've done much more than you can imagine with opening up those spaces and holding space, and also the dragonscape. I mean, the first dragonscape for me, I'm just saying this because people don't know what spaces you're holding. So just to for you to understand, the one who's listening, Light Language Launch was a weekly, was it weekly? Yeah, weekly space that Susanne was holding for years for free, where people could share their own unique language of the heart, their own unique light language. And Dragonscape is something that she's been doing also for many, many years, holding space to connect with the dragons. And maybe you want to explain for those listening what it is about the dragons that makes it so special. You see, I have here my dragon. For me, connecting in Dragonscape with my dragon and literally feeling myself as a dragon, turning into a dragon, ignited my creativity. I started to connect with the creative force and power inside of me. And it gave me the confidence to really go into the unknown. After my first Dragonscape, I want to mention that I had my walk-in experience also with the Gayatri mantra. So funny, the same, which is the death mantra also. Maybe we want to. So you die to your old self and you are reborn as a new version of yourself. So I had my walk-in experience, and then after that, I started creating like crazy. I couldn't stop. I couldn't stop creating. This was after my first Dragonscape. So for people who don't know, it's very, very powerful work to connect with the dragons. Maybe you want to talk a little bit about that as well.
Yeah. Well, it kind of links in because you asked about the Amaranth flame.
Yeah,
So
as well.
it kind of links into that. So
Something to
dragons have
talk about.
been a big journey for me, and it is for a lot of people. So first of all, I'd like to say, when we bring up the subject of dragons, this could be an entire episode that we could
Yeah,
discuss on our
yeah,
own, and trying to fit it into 5 minutes is impossible.
it
So
is. It is.
for everybody, dragons is unique, and I totally accept that. So my own experience with dragons has been profound, and I agree. For me, dragon is not just reptilian. So reptilian is given to us because it's symbolic of our history. In this, the last 20,000 years has been a bit of a strange time for the planet, we might say, and not necessarily representative of what we are. So that the serpent and the reptilian dragon has been at the forefront for the last 20,000 years. So we've got that massive symbology of dragon with the etymology, which is where the word comes from. So it means it's like bringer of light from the water, essentially. And
Bringer of light from the
I
water.
think roughly, I'm going to write a post about it, but
Okay, good.
roughly it's something about in different. I tried to get to the root of where it came from, and it was literally like from the water, the liquid, comes the knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not dragon, it's where it goes back to through the different older systems of language until we get to this stage. But essentially it's down to the seeding that happened
Mm-hmm.
after the cataclysm of the Younger Dryas flood,
Yeah.
2,000 years ago, whatever it was. And then the subsequent issues we had about 12,000 years ago. So it's a long time for anybody listening. I mean, we're just wondering what happens the next day most of the time. And I deal with millions and sometimes billions of years of trillions of years of histories. So back to dragons. Dragon for me is a Christic energy. And that when I say Christ, because that can be misinterpreted, what I really mean is just the oneness, the allness, the complete connection from the very beginning and the first breath of time, which is sound and light. And we call this the ki rashi. This is the first light, the first light's creation, and that comes from sound. That comes from the first creation of sound. So the akasha is the body that comes and is created from the different structures. Let's just say it's a structure of mathematics, and it creates a dimensionalized matrix of time and matter, which is what we're in. We're having an experience here. So the dragons are part of our creational mantra. The mantra is the timbre, the sound. Sorry, I'm trying to. I get English sometimes goes mixed up with a language. So the sound is the most powerful activator, and obviously our language, this language and these languages were given to us. Like the Tower of Babel, it was to make us dumb.
Yeah,
because our light languages are the real languages, and Anahazi is the first language. Anahazi is the first language of our first creational form. And that's why we're remembering, yes, that we move our bodies, we vibrate with. So light language lounge as well ties in with this as well. So Dragonscape was founded, it was given to me through my higher self as a space of exploration of the landscape of what creation is all about. It was that simple. Dragonscape, the language of the dragons in the landscape. I had no idea. We're on the 9th one. We're going to launch the 9th in December.
I know.
It's been a journey. And I haven't got time for here, but amazing. And it's inspirational. So it's very, very deep work, but always about inspiring that spark within and giving you the confidence as you experience the confidence to just embrace your true essence and your true spark and find an outlet for it some way. Everyone's different, aren't they? But I've had so many people come in these spaces and they're like, I can't draw. I haven't got light mind. I can't draw. All of, and then by the end, everyone's creating masterpieces. Like, it's amazing, and it's inspiring. And it was the same. The reason I founded Light Language Lounge, again, like everything I've ever done is from intuition. I've never gone out there and tried to invent a modality or create a program. My awakening has always, I've had to wait. I've had to be patient. Sometimes my ego has been like really demanding. I'm frustrated. Like, what am I supposed to be doing? But Light Language Lounge was given to hold space for people to express themselves and to learn how to facilitate. So I had to learn all these things. No one teaches you these things. And it was absolutely mind-blowing to meet so many people with so many different streams and different ways of expressing. And I remember it very fondly. And the only reason I stopped was, again, I had been doing it every week for 3 years and I needed a little break. So it's going to relaunch again. We're going to start again. And again, it's time to hold space. I've had a long rest this year, so I'm ready to come back and help inspire the next generation to hold space with discernment. I think that's what I would say is to just speak plainly.
Yeah.
When we awaken, we're like a colander.
Well, I do consider you my mentor.
Okay, and so we're like a colander.
Yes.
Or we're just full of holes and doors, and we go around opening the doors and we haven't got a clue what we're opening to. Yeah. So the journey, it's not for anyone to tell you this is bad and this is wrong. I don't believe in that at all. The empowerment is in having the ability and the tools in a loving and safe and caring and non-judgmental environment to feel safe enough to explore how do we evolve the awareness and the vibration in the body to be able to discern one thing from another and then make those decisions about what's right for us.
Yeah.
And sometimes receive things for ourselves and then sometimes for the through flow for expression of other people. So we got to learn that. And, at the moment, it's like a delinquent kindergarten on TikTok.
Yeah.
Like, it's just amazing, but we're like children exploring, and what's going to happen over time is now that we've got a lot of the judgment side, the ideological side, that's not actually counterproductive and knocking people down and making them feel afraid. And then there's the upwelling of love, and really that I feel very responsible, like a mother in a way, for creating a permissive environment where people can speak plainly and not feel afraid to develop themselves. Because if we try and do anything from fear, we just collapse. And I feel this time is done now. I'm here to speak up, to voice the types of behaviours that are happening, that are judging people when they're just learning. They haven't got a clue. No one taught you. No one explained what these layers of dimensional reality are, or why they might be helpful or not helpful, and how does that work in our reality. It's like when we go to have a meal, we're going to choose a burger, we're going to choose some Coke. We don't know what that is. We're just going to take it, aren't we? And
Yeah.
maybe that's not so good for us.
Yeah. I think the key word here is choosing. We're simply not used to choose for ourselves. And most of us really don't even know what it is that we want, what it is that we as a soul are able to choose. So I feel what you do is you give also people a space to discover that they can choose what is inside of me that I choose to express, what is inside of me that I choose to create, what is inside of me that I choose to put my attention and my energy to. And this is a game changer, I feel, for many people, when you start to realize that you are able to choose, right? That you are able to choose, and that if you choose and constantly put this attention back towards yourself and what it is that you answer to, not something external but internally, and then you will see that changes manifest in your external reality. And I had a question before. Yeah, if somebody wants to work with you, yeah, and say, I don't know why, I just feel I want to get in touch with Susanne, and I want her to help me. Because, for example, for me, you were my mentor, and right now I'm starting to hold space as well in my own light language group. And for me, I've participated in Dragonscape. We've done some. I have done a private session with you many years ago. We've had a lot of touch. I have your beautiful codes, oracle, that I use a lot. If somebody is seeing this and they're like, okay, I want to know more about that, I want to explore myself more in that, what is it that you are going to offer now? Like, what is your soul asking you to do now?
That's a really good question, because I'm still actually don't actually know. Like, I mean, the greatest question would be, I don't know. So I do offer a session. So obviously, I've got traditional training as well, like not just cosmic training. I've trained in many different things and different modalities, and particularly I love breathwork. So I'm a breathwork practitioner. I'm very passionate about somatic embodiment. So my principal support is in grounding into the body. So to rationalize and sense make and help people work through the stuff that's in the way of opening, like the fears and the traumas and the things that get in the way that inevitably we're going to face. So I don't do like cosmic clearing work. I don't activate DNA anymore. I don't. There's other people who can do that stuff. But just by working with me, those things will naturally activate, because it's about inspiring. I want to inspire you to have the tools and the know that you've got the foundations, that you don't need to rely on anybody else and pay them thousands of pounds and stuff like that. I'm not into all that stuff. You really can do this yourself. So my space for people that feel inspired would be, if you want to discover and activate your highest potential and feel that you can have the tools to walk away and do it yourself, not keep coming back, then that would be a great space of working. And to do that, you can work one-to-one, or I provide spaces like Dragonscape, and I do something called Pillars of Light as well, which is small-ish groups, but we work with a particular grid work and in a particular way, which I call quantum dynamic flow. And it's essentially collapsing the time field. So if you've got a problem here, it exists in many different places. It's scattered, we're fragmented, and it just, to sum it up, it brings the fragmentation home into one space and we collapse it down, and then you can be free, more free of those edges. And also I do different random random things. I've done things with sleep, I'm doing something with grief soon, and I've done things with the mouth, with the teeth, all kinds of different things, and it's just always guided. So I don't really have a modality, but I do sell my art as well, and you can buy sets of my codes. And again, some of this is kind of stalled for almost 18 months. I've had this kind of big period in my life that was quite challenging, where I shut down and gave away my power. I had to get it back, I had to work at it really hard. And then I had to understand what was going on in my body. So now the way of working is in a kind of state of flux, because I'm very sensitive now to everything. And I've softened, but I'm very strong and direct. So
Totally get it.
if you want an agreeable coach, I'm not the type of person for you. I'm not going to blow sunshine and give you what you want to hear. I'm going to go straight to the space that needs to do, but with a lot with deep love.
Yeah.
That's how we move. It sometimes, you know, you've got a plaster on and it's just got a bit old, and that's kind of how we are now.
Yeah.
We've been in this Velcro reality that's slowing us down, and sometimes, you know, it's hard, but it's just better to rip it off.
Yeah. Well,
And
I
yeah,
think the reason you're on here is because we're really much navigating the same purpose. So it's what I see out there is a lot of taking the power from others, or saying I have a modality, and if you don't do this, you don't will not achieve that. And it's about what I really feel from your shares that I have heard you do the last years is really about the empowerment and making people see that it's already inside of them. There's nothing to do, nothing to achieve, and I love that about you. And about the quantum, working with the quantum field and the possibilities there, that now science is also slowly going to be discovering, and how we're going to be creating and bringing into this reality, a reality that already exists. So all of this is happening now. We're opening up many, many new doors and new healing modalities. And I think you're one of the way showers, the number one person to go to, that brings all of that together into the body. So about embodying all of that multidimensional cosmic things and bringing it to the simple things, to the simplicity, which is through your creativity as well. So your codes, maybe just shortly talking about your light codes and your art, because we are both artists, we're both working with that. So just wanted to mention that the light codes that Amara brings is living technology. So it's an alive art that when you look at it, you are receiving like codes and geometry that is working on your field, and that will open you up to perceive things differently. Maybe you want to talk a little bit deeper on that and how you can work with those codes as somebody that has never worked with that before.
Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, the light language, the codes, and we both do. There's some, same thing, just for different styles. Is we're working with the codes or the informational streams of creation. So it's like, if you listen to some music, it's made of different instruments, isn't it? And different notes and different beats and stuff. And that's kind of what we're doing, just on a higher dimensional level. And it's not linear, so it's non-linear. It's quantum. So these are keys. They're like keys to creation. And there's nothing in these that isn't inside of you. So you're looking at God. That's the beauty of it. Literally, you're talking with high dimensional God of your own self. And I make the keys to help people or inspire people so they can remember things, or they're inspired, or sometimes I do more body codes, which help correct issues with the body, because they're going to provide, it's like a resonance. So it's going to help to bring something into tune that maybe is slightly out of tune. And we're very, very highly calibrated engines. So we need a lot of tuning. And that's what the codes do. And so if we use our mind to try and explain things, it kind of slows things down and it collapses the geometry. Whereas when we're not using our mind and we go in our heart brain, the super expansive eternal space of our flow, our fluidity, so we call that the liquidine space, the crystalline space. It's a beautiful place of expansion. Like, just imagine being in an ocean that's infinite and it's everything, and you're just a little potential in that space, just having an experience. That these keys allow you to touch that energy and meet it where you're at. So just wherever you're at, and you will get exactly out of it whatever it is that you're supposed to get out of it. So there isn't any kind of, some people write codes and they're like, it's going to do this, 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 and this, and I'm going to take this, put it in you, and I don't do any of that. Just to reiterate, I don't do any of that. It's just there as a key. You interact with it, you harmonize in your field. And so how can you interact with them? You can print out small copies, you can order prints, you can use them on your phone digitally. If you go on my Instagram, there's going to be an app soon which is going to be very helpful for people, so you can go much more deeper into activations and meditations. So I'm going to have a lot coming in the next year, but right now you've got some keys and you can meditate and just be with them. That I don't really say you've got to do it this way. I don't like to say you have to do anything, because you are your own agent of your own experience. But creating some stillness and some good breathing practice around when we're going to interact with any sort of field of energy, and just saying that I'm only going to really work with the higher instrument of my body. So I'm going to receive what's absolutely best for me at this moment. So any information that's not relevant, and even high vibrational information, just isn't going to overstimulate me, or we can have too much, because we can be like activation junkies.
Yeah.
so just to go steady, because they're very strong.
Yeah, and then take
space.
the time to embody it, because
give space.
We're used to like constantly taking information in, and listening to podcasts and this and this and this, and activation after the activation, but it stays in the air. It stays there, and nothing happens. And then you're wondering why nothing happens in my life. Why am I not speaking light language? Why this? Why that? It's because we need to bring it into the body. This is why I really love your offering now with the breath work that we're going to do. And this is something that I'm also working on. because I really feel that the breath is the one thing that really brings all of this information and activation and keys that is in the air element into this material reality and into the body. And this is what I also do with the portal painting. It's literally bringing all of that information, like the connection with your divine, with your future self, through the canvas, through the painting, into your body, and let your own medicine work on you in your cells and bring it in.
Mm.
Yeah. This is what I received. I also didn't plan any of that, and it just
Yeah.
came. And I feel that this is where we need to be going and flowing. It's like, what is it that really excites you in this very moment? If somebody's saying, okay, I wanna help, I wanna do this, I wanna do that, everything that is coming from the mind place is going to collapse. It's not going to work anymore, and it's going to be stopped. Like this is, I feel, what where we're heading. And only those creations that do come from purity and from the heart, and without any distortions. And art is, for me, is one of the biggest tools that cannot be distorted. So those
Yeah.
codes that you see from Amara are pure. They cannot be distorted. So this is the magic. This is the magic in the purity of creation, I feel.
I'll speak into that a little bit as well, because there's a lot of information out there online, and there's a lot of fear mongering as well about coders recently. So I'm really happy just to speak into this and say that when you bring information through, it's a little bit just like anything, isn't it? Anyone can write anything, anyone can do anything, but you either come from a place of love or you come from a place of fear. So if you come from a place of love, it doesn't matter what you look on. It doesn't really matter what it looks like, because you are saying to yourself, I'm only going to receive this in love. I'm only going to receive this for the highest of my own development. So even if I didn't get it right, quite, or it was slightly out of key or whatever, that's I am a creative. It's no different to building a car or designing a building. We're always learning. We're always investigating. But the main thing is like, you do create. That's what I'd say, is don't be afraid. Please don't be afraid of getting it wrong. I even wrote it. Look, I've got a piece of paper somewhere. I think it's still in my bag. But basically, it literally says, like, the fear, we have a fear of death and we have a fear of getting it wrong. Like, just don't be afraid. You can't really get anything wrong, because God doesn't work like that.
Exactly.
That's not how God works at all. And when
Love
we
that.
encounter fear-based ideology in the spiritual world, and there is a lot within the Christic space, it's very variable, and it's obviously down to the people, the humans, not the information. That basis can really choke us. It can really stifle our exploration. So I really encourage you to not worry about, just start creating, start doing what feels right for you. As you shared, it's a felt sense of the body. Now, when we're learning, we don't just pick up and suddenly play a violin like a virtuoso. It takes many hours. We don't just suddenly start, well, some of us do start to suddenly do artwork and paint. So I'm talking like, we just go from zero to crazy talented these days, which is lovely, because that's that's the juice that's inside of us. We are so juicy and gorgeous and
I feel that a lot
amazing.
of people are going to start coming into online to that, and
Yes.
just by getting that push.
That's partly why I'm here. So
Me
I'm
too.
creating a brand called Inspired. And this brand is going to be all about inspiring the fire and inspiring creation and inspiring your voice and inspiring your amazing codes to come out and just blossom in this world. We need it. We need it because obviously the other way is optimization and to over technological,
Yes.
to over mentalization. We can see it. That's like the
We had
bad
enough of
father,
that.
isn't it? It's like the bad parent that got out of control. It's nothing new. We've lived through it loads of times. And this space is why we came. This is like the space of why we came. And isn't it great that we've got this together. Like we're not. And when you were moved earlier on, it just touched me so deeply. I was trying to hold it together so I don't cry, but it's hard not to sometimes, because it's the idea that we're not. This generation is so clued up. When I see these young ones now, they're just like, wow, they're just. I just want to so I could retire. They're just so talented, so instantly amazing, so intuitive, so emotionally intelligent as well, like really, really there. So I really am a champion for being very open, but bringing it and rooting it down into the ground, into the body, with, like you say, with good integration, time to adjust to how am I going to activate? So if we go around all the time like we can in our creative zone, we need to actualize in life, and the strength that we have together. So we never really got onto this, is when we can, my part of my role here is to create communities as yours is. We're all like these community hub, I don't know what we call them, community hub creators or something like that. And then we work together and the communities come together, and then we all start to have keys and we exchange our keys. And then through that space, we create this amplification structure. So like giant codes, essentially.
Synergies.
Yes, giant. And this, I've got this whole theory of reality and time. Like I could write a book on what I've downloaded. That the stuff that's here currently isn't quite right or enough. I don't want to criticize anything, but it's not quite there. So we live in continual potentials of trillions of potentials of overlaid simultaneous reality system. We're in a hologram, we're in a simulation. It's amazing. And the gift is, when we start to realize this and our hearts open and our bodies, what I'm talking about with the flame is, it's just energy. So the different frequencies that we have in our light body, not the physical thing that we see, it's all made of energy. And as we activate it and we increase our frequency, literally, we're carrying less weight, so less clogginess. We get faster and the heart opens, and then we can see through reality. So we see the futility of our own ego and our own stuff. We go a little bit faster and we can accommodate that speed so we can have faster broadband. Then we accelerate, and that is like the amazing thing, that when we join waves, it amplifies and it gets stronger and stronger. So that's partly a little bit into the future, is we have incredible potential, and that's why we've struggled so much, because obviously there are parts of the world and parts of creation that think we're fair game. And that's why we've been in this forgetting stage. That's why often we've struggled. But what I'd like to say to you, if you're listening, is you're not alone. You're stronger than you think. If you're here, no matter how hard it gets, no matter how difficult or emotional it is, how much you feel trapped, whether you're afraid, whether you're frustrated, we will get through this as a family. It's already happening. It's not going to stop. It can't be switched off. There's nowhere to run. There's nowhere to run to. We're here. And it's like, you know that the ship is going to evolve. It's not going down. It's just going to evolve. And we've got to just ride on the wave. We've got to just ride on the wave. Higher self's got us. But we are the agents too. It's not about abdicating responsibility. Yeah. We are our parents. We are all of our ancestors. We're all of those beings, and anything you're interacting with is yourself. And there isn't really anything, even the dark stuff, it's all us. It's everything. We are everything. We're the darkest dark, the most twisted, the most messed up. We're all of it. There's no point in hiding from it. And when we accept it and make the choice and we choose love consciously as God, then the reality creates for us. That's our key. That's what we're here to reclaim. We're here to become masters of creation and masters of reality, because that's what we are.
I couldn't have said it any better. Mic drop. Mic drop. Beautiful, beautiful. And I also am so happy that you mentioned the weaving together of the communities, because one of the biggest wounds that I had to overcome to be able to step out was the sisterhood wound. This competition in between, specifically our like the women. This is why I'm doing this podcast with the multidimensional medicine women, because it is about coming together. Every one of us has a specific, unique frequency. We have soul contracts with our soul family, the ancient ones, the light family. We are all coming together now and giving each other the keys. And this is why this competition thinking needs to be like thrown out of the window, because it is together we rise. Everyone has specific codes, specific medicine that is needed at this time. And some people will resonate with you, some people will resonate with me, because we're all at different levels exactly for that. And this forgetting, I often feel I'm kind of playing a role. I know, but I'm playing a role for those that resonate with that role that I'm playing, that they resonate with me, and like as if I would be a mirror, yeah, at that specific time for somebody. And this is how we are helping each other and, yeah, bringing each other home, right?
Yes,
To the
absolutely.
heart.
It's really
Okay.
true, isn't it? It's really
Yeah.
true. I'm working with women's groups face to face at the moment, working with different women's groups, and it's completely different to like how I would have thought about it in the past. We work together, we support each other.
Yes.
Nobody's in competition. It's not even been a feature of any of the groups. We're just here to share, here to support, here to
Yeah.
listen, here to share information. And it's a deep wound, but we know why it exists. It's very old.
Yeah.
And it's part of the competition that was bred into us. And, it's really just down to us to overcome it, isn't it? And just stop behaving in
Yeah.
those ways, or giving power to it as well, like the wounding, because it's something I really had too. It's one of the things I've addressed this year, because it really came up strongly, like
Yes.
really,
Because
like
we've
the
been stabbed in the
strongest.
back many, many times. I know you
Yeah,
have
the
been too,
strongest.
by people
Yeah,
that you dearly, dearly loved and trusted.
absolutely.
And that is something that if you still continue to be a being of love and of compassion and share yourself after you have been stabbed in the motherfucking back so often, that says a lot about you. And I know that you have been going through so many, so difficult tribulations, Susanne.
Everyone,
Oh my God. Because you
everyone in
had
my
the
life.
balls to step out and to share yourself so authentically. And I just want to honor that. I just want to honor that big time, because I know what you have been through. I really
Yeah,
do.
it's nobody's fault. I really think I feel okay talking about it to some degree, but just to, obviously with respect to people involved, is what I would say is that obviously we're playing out a big cosmic wound. So regardless of where you are in terms of your awareness, we could see if we look in the outside world, things are really upside down, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're crazy.
Super.
And it's no different in the cosmic realm. It's just the same. And the whole reason that this whatever we want to call this reality exists, that where we've had to survive and struggle, and it's basically a fictional realm of what we call the fall. So in order for us to bring up the core root problems, we have to kind of relive these situations. And that's kind of what's happened in my life this year. It's like watching a pantomime or a play where all the people close to me reenacted the fall, and I was the one on the pyre. Like, I took the role. I mean, it's not laughing matter. It's funny. It's not funny, but I didn't get burned. But it was an attempt, like a big push from multiple sources and multiple places, and I did break. Like, I absolutely broke. And there were times when I didn't want to be here. I did think about transitioning. I nearly burnt all my codes, like completely trashed them off a computer. I was very close to completely
Getting
erasing
goosebumps.
everything, to completely leaving. And like, I wanted to erase myself out of existence at one point because it was so strong coming from so many places at once. And I was in extremely high stress, so uber stress, like hyper vigilance, didn't know who to trust. This is happening to many people.
Me
There are
too.
people abusing their spiritual
Yeah,
power,
yeah,
especially groups.
yeah, me
They're
too.
using narcissistic tactics to attack people. And I'm going to start talking about this. I'm going
Good.
to share the exact
So
behavior so
important.
people wise up and get super strong to get resilient. You don't have to take this type of behavior. So I had to learn. I don't have the kind of engine of victimization because I understand now. I've come through the very hard experiences to see the light of what the wisdom of this and why it was given was so I can hold space. And I had to face the darkness inside of myself because there was nothing that was reflected to me that I'm quite sure that I haven't done. So that's what I took on, is where does this exist in my history? And I have to do the inner shadow work. That's what it's all about, is healing that first separation and division from God, from source, to bring ourselves back, to trust ourselves, and then we won't be. I mean, there's no competition. There can't be because we're all one.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
how could I be in competition? How could I even have like an argument with you? Really, it's
mm,
futile,
mm,
but we do.
yeah,
So part of this has just been about deciding. So this is for anybody, and this isn't always easy, particularly when, things have happened, like, relationships collapse or circumstances change. We can feel wronged. We feel like someone's getting away with something if we just give it over. But what I've learned is that when we create reality, if we're in resonance with our soul, we're in resonance with our soul. Yeah. And sometimes in other parts, we might not have been in resonance, and it's just like it's washing in to complete. So it might not make sense to us. It might not look like rationality, like that person is the wrong one. But what if in another reality I was that one? And it's just completion. And if we can
transmuting
understand,
through.
yes, if we're just letting it go, there's
Yes,
no loss, there's no gain. And the whole notion of this victimizer just collapses. It's just that's what's happened to me. I
mm,
saw the light, like literally, I saw the futility of like wounded warrior, the wounded mother, the wounded father, the wounded child, all of the things that we've held that keep us in grief and keep us in the arguments and all of that stuff is just, it's giving attention, and we're enabling that reality to continue. And there's no future for that reality because it's entropic, which
yes,
means that it's not
self-destroys.
serving. Yes, we are coming from an eternal space of
Yeah,
God, and it's happening now.
yeah,
That's why we're finding our
yeah.
voices.
It's two
That's why we're
different
able to
sources
talk
as
about
well.
it. Yes,
It's two
totally different.
different sources. It's so important to mention here. There's two different sources. One is and it's organic and the other is not organic, and everything that is not organic is falling away, but it's also falling away because it is transmuting through us all of the time. So when you understand that, it's like such a freedom because there is no more victim or victimizer. It's like you by simply being are doing the job and just letting everything happen without attaching to it. You said it so beautifully. It's like this, just attaching to the stickiness, and that is keeping us sometimes in a loop. But I feel that the energies right now are really coming in so strongly to make the process so much easier, with so many beautiful tools that we are receiving and remembering to help us really go through that, because embodying your multidimensional self is a process and is not just easy peasy rainbows and unicorns and butterflies. It is the work, like big work. But we had to do it alone. We had to figure everything out. And we are here now to say, hey, there's ways to do that help me. And you can experience that to find your own way to discover what is inside of you and what you have to bring to the world. What is your dream that you have to bring to the reality that you want to see? Like, what is your perception? What is your iris? What is your unique spark to create something that is in favor for everyone to enjoy? Basically, we're playing children to, and we're dreaming our dreams and weaving our dreams into being. So one thing I wanted to ask you before we maybe wrap it up, if you could give one advice for somebody that is right now going through this tower moment, that we had various of them, if you could give them one advice on when you're in this moment of, I want to give up, I want to burn everything, I don't know if I can trust myself, I don't know who I am anymore, everything, like this moment where you're like, I can't continue anymore. Because I know that many of us are going to go through that now or are going through it right now. So what is this one advice that you can give those beings? Yeah. Because you have just been going through that.
Yes. Sometimes I need to just pause for a minute.
Yeah, absolutely fine.
It's a responsibility. So there are two ways to share this. I'm going to share from Susanne, for myself. You mentioned breathing. So the reason that I'm so passionate about breathing is I use conscious connected breathing. And conscious connected breathing is to help us to get in the body. So when we're in those types of spaces where there's mind worrying, there might be infiltration, you might be in reversals, all different types of things, you're just doubting you want to be here, then that's like a form of hypervigilance. You can go over the edge and you can be in hyperregulation, which means you freeze and you shut down, and that's when we normally want to die. So we go over the edge into hyper stress and then we shut down, freeze. It's part of what happens in the nervous system. So then your mind, your rational mind, does not work anymore. You've gone into the basal mind, the basal instinct. So in order to help yourself, you need to breathe, and that's to take really good deep breaths into your body and to breathe out twice as long, like you're breathing out through a straw, as when you breathe in. Simple as that. So taking deep breaths in, lie down flat and allow yourself to feel the feelings, to feel the things that need to move, because as soon as you start to regulate, those things can move. So that is creating instant safety. Look up online, go and Google vagal techniques to bring yourself into your body, to balance yourself, create safety. Do not isolate yourself. So this is what these groups that we're forming, and other people, like exactly whoever you resonate with, it doesn't matter, we're all family. Find some people you resonate with and create a support network. It's very important right now that we do this, but be aware that when you create a support network, that perhaps there's people operating from values where you're not going to be operating in old way values, and these are like new way values. So that would be from a human perspective. So don't judge yourself, don't overthink it. Know that it will pass. It feels like a mountain when it's there. It feels like a tsunami. It can be terrifying when you think you're going to lose your mind. but it will pass. I have been through so many initiations, especially when I was, you went to Egypt as well. You know what goes on. It was flipping crazy. The initiations that we go through at this level are strong, and they are tests. They are tests. So what I would say to everybody that is going through these types of galactic awakenings is you need to have something that works for you, that is going to help you find your center. Whatever it is that works for you, it's not for me to say exactly. I have my own practices, but you need something that's going to be in the organic 12th dimensional frequency and get your light body to be very still and very centered. And the more you practice this and the more that you just are consistent every day, it's harder to knock you. And so you have to action this. You have to go through these steps. You can't just sit watching Netflix and hope it's all going to go away.
Yeah.
So there is some discipline involved. From Amara's perspective, from a higher perspective, I would say that just to work on developing a very close relationship with your higher self. So to reparent yourself is number one. We've never been taught this. It's really important. We can't escape out into galactic, cosmic, multidimensionality and use that as an escape route or as an astral bliss space. We haven't really discussed that, but I'm sure that you probably will in other episodes. But it's very easy to escape.
I
It's
think
very
this is
easy
asking for a
to,
part two.
yeah, it's very easy to get lost and to, in order to become the navigator. So that's just how I became the navigator. I alluded to it. I made every freaking mistake. I fell more than just grazed my knees, puked on the ground, thought I was going to die, like made every flipping space holding mistake there is, like got into ego, did all of these things. Yeah. Like it's okay. You're learning and to let go of perfectionism.
Oh,
You came
beautiful.
here to learn and you came here, gosh, I feel emotional. It's me again, feeling emotional now. You came here to learn in the physical realm and be God in the physical realm. That, and it doesn't look like this kind of, well, it does eventually, but right now it feels heavy when you come in. It feels like, oh my God, like I'm so human. I'm feeling my body for the first time. I am feeling my body for the first time. It's fully vibrating and it's musical.
Beautiful.
And the exquisiteness I can feel, not what's here now, because obviously food is very tainted. Like, I mean, even though I live in Thailand where you can get it off the trees, where it's quite natural still, the fruit is natural, we've still got some interference with our food, but I can see where we're going. I can see what's happening with us. We're going to recalibrate and speed up, but it's one step at a time. We want to go from A to Z. I want to get to Z, but that's not that's what we've been taught. This is the consumerist instant gratification world. We're here to go
One step at a time.
one step at a time and
Yeah.
just enjoy it and be with your family and
Yeah.
make space for yourself to be normal. And I mean, normal, whatever it is that you enjoy and keeps you grounded. If it's knitting or singing or whatever it is you do, dancing to funky country and Western music, like it doesn't matter what you do, but do something that just takes you away from not too much in the head.
Yeah. Well, I'm the master escapist, multidimensional flying around. And to everything that you said, I completely 100% agree. I want to add what helped me is to bring in a little bit of structure and the importance of rituals. It helped me a lot to say, okay, I'm not in control about all of what's going on, but I can control this. I can do this every day. And it did kind of help me to connect with the structure, to bring everything in. So just simple rituals of like, can be anything. Lighting up a candle every day when you wake up. Just simple things that help you be here. And I know that you have a lot of connection with the tree kingdom too. So what is helping me a lot as well is just to simply hug a tree. If you feel like that, go out, hug a tree. Literally, they saved my life a lot of times. They saved my life a lot of times when
Yeah.
I was like in this I'm losing myself. I don't know what is happening. I just went out and sat under a tree and literally said, "Please help me." And they saved me. So this is so easy, but it is so powerful. And I know that you have been working a lot with the tree mycelium. I was in that space that you held. It was so beautiful and so powerful. I think we should do that again, um, because they're helping us a lot right now. They are the guardians to other dimensions. They are the initiators. If you are transitioning from one frequency into the other, I just wanted to mention them here and give a shout out to all our tree friends that are really helping us so much right now.
Or we
Yeah.
could do a whole episode on trees. That's another thing. Yeah, it really. And so I do the same. I use water, and so I live in the jungle. That's where I live. Chosen to live in the jungle, and so I'm surrounded by trees. And I use water. So I go in the ocean, or I live 10 minutes from the ocean and 2 minutes from waterfall.
Yeah, super
So
important.
I those are my rituals every day. It's water and walking barefoot. So walking barefoot, shoes off on the land. It's really necessary.
Yes.
We're returning back to natural order.
Yes.
So natural order means that we might have to work at it a little bit too.
Yes.
If you live in a city, get you know what you can do if you live in a city is just get some plants, get something living in your house, get some greenery, and then take this is a little tip to take your plant to the trees. So go and find some trees somewhere nice and let the plant talk to the trees. I know it sounds ridiculous, but it's really not. Like, let the plant talk with the trees and have a conversation and just give lots of love and lots of respect to the beings because they're alive. They're ancient and timeless. They're not what they look like at all. They're alive. And they're going to communicate. Imagine those great crystal trees out of Avatar. That's what trees are really like. That's the realness of what they are. And they connect through time and space. And then the plant, which just looks like a plant, but it's not just a plant, it's an interface with God. Then you bring that back to your house, and then you can talk with the trees in the city. So you don't have to. The way that we live is kind of complex. So I want to say, because we can fantasize that everyone lives in the country, but like most people, they also live in cut off from nature. So I think those things are important, and we can create water rituals in our house. There's so many things, and I really agree. I think that creating routine helps because the chaotic space of awakening has nobody's written. Your journey is completely unique, and everyone says I just love it. I love listening to people's journeys and their stories and the things they've been through. There's so many tales to tell,
Hmm.
and
You're gonna be
it's a
starting your
beautiful
podcast
journey.
again, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna have
Oh,
to. I'm gonna have to because the thing is, I haven't been in truth. I'm just gonna be. I'm giving you the exclusive because we've got a long history.
ooh, I feel honored. Thank you.
the the I I haven't been truthful. I have really shut myself down. I have really held myself back. And it was mainly because early on in my journey, I was in a kind of cult. So I was in like a healing modality cult. And the leader of that cult really saw that I was very, very dark and instilled this fear into me. And then
Remember, I was
absolutely,
with you there. I've lived
yeah,
everything through.
absolutely shamed me, gaslighted me, made me the focus. It was the worst type of narcissistic abuse, and really instilled this fear of me speaking my truth. And I actually took it in. And it's only just really this year that I have managed to get to the core. Beyond that, that was still that all that layer is just, it's not even about that person. It's all cosmic history. It's just all stuff that gets stuck in these places. But you have to go and find you have to
Diamond
find it
behind.
and let it go. And that, so there's so much to share that's absolutely mind blowing. And when I really think about what I suppressed, it was happening so fast. I was going on to light ships. I was traveling multidimensionally. I was learning how to perform surgery on different different species, which we don't even talk about, and all sorts of amazing stuff like technology, seeing the complete structure. Like, we are completely in an interactive energetic field, and it's, if we are love based, it's going to create one way. If we are fear based, it's going to create another way. It's that simple. We have to make the jump because we've been governed by something that is inorganic and appears organic. It's like an illusion, and it keeps us anesthetized like an anesthetic. So we are numb to the creation. So this is not about religion. Religion is an invention to control human beings. It comes from extraterrestrials. And these same extraterrestrials are ruled by inorganic intelligence. And that is what has numbed us. We are effectively numbed. So it's down to us to realize that we have the power of creation inside. And it's so exciting when you really know about it. It's like I feel like I've got this, like all the keys of creation inside. And I'm this child that's just waking up to itself. And I realized that it's like when you get it, there is no more drama. There's no point. There's just it has no value.
Yeah, because it's not, it's imploding. So it's why you
Yeah.
just don't engage anymore with that. Um, I really do feel that there's so much more that wants to be shared. Um, I think we should wrap it up so that people have the chance to think everything in that was just said. And I would really love to have you maybe in the future at some point, if you would be open to continue this conversation. I feel that there's so much inside of you that is ready to just pour out onto the world, and I'm excited to see what it will be. I feel a little bit the same, that I am just starting to really speak my truth and show myself with everything that I have experienced. And that many of us are going through that expansion right now. And it was so amazing to have you here. I'm going to give you an opportunity as well to share some last words and maybe even some of your beautiful light language if you're up for it. Just whatever you feel like wants to be shared with our audience today. Drink some water. Yes, I've been drinking a lot. And yeah, just super grateful for your presence, sister. Really.
Oh, it's an honor. It's an honor because of what we share. And
I've been that.
I want to turn the
I
tables on
felt
you
so
and
bad
have
for
you on Raw
you that time.
Ascension. I want to have you on Raw Ascension
Yay!
and turn the tables a little bit, find out more about the amazing creations that you bring, because they fascinate me. And yes, so I just want to say thank you for tuning in. and for being what you are, for being that amazing, courageous human spirit that you are, and eternal life. And so, Arukoyana Shikia, Aruk Eshandian, Aruk Eshta, Galak Yandor or Shandark Arkit Yashur Yashik, Alitur Onsia. Rukadiam sele vaagde estia, ma ork orkania, el vano sufre el hanzeven tian machinian, al van moshrakiam zava el hurretia, shekuna men aran alasaya shantun men aran, brukwe, ya shubun kadayam zavaya, shar or.
Thank you for those codes. Ooh.
I can't really sing, because if I go into toning, it will cut out, I think, the sound. I can feel like there's just give me a second, otherwise I'm going to try and put it onto something, this one.
You know, if you put original sound for musicians on the right, then you can tone and you can hear it perfectly. Just a tip. But you need to put that on Zoom.
Hello.
Hello.
You can always cut that out or not, but I just have to switch the aircon off, otherwise it won't work. Okay, so now I can do this. Sit back. Elahoto yama hiena re urayamo shekia yama yes. Oma hiano hona hieno ingo hingamashin. Una yehi o mude shaido shedasha. Una nengo ho te ai 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 ai. Umana hiango te ye shatata. Kama mata kuma yena. Dana mama yena yemata. Yena hushan yade kurata da da da. Numama negu tingona yemate ya ya. Durana hena neku. Shemane nane nane namaste tushasa. Dai 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 dai. Te la forquesha nemate shateta. Rosha morosha shimsha shik shuk shik 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 shik.
Thank you. I think that there's nothing more to say for now. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being with us in this space. Thank you for being open. And thank you, sister. I hope to talk to you soon again. Thank you for your multidimensional, powerful medicine and for sharing it and yourself so authentically and beautifully with the world.
Thank you. And thank you.
Until next time.